What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the 4 for 4 Philly Fan Podcast. News broke today that the Sixers are looking at and are in need of a couple more bench players. And the two players that they said today were George Hill and Delon Wright. Now, the other day, in one of my post-game videos, I said that Nemanja Bjelica was, getting looked at by Daryl Morey and the Sixers, and he could be coming back to the city because he was traded here or he was signed here, and then he turned out that he didn't want to play here, and then he said he was going overseas, and then he lied and said, nope, I'm going to go to the Kings instead of the Sixers, which was just a big thing. It didn't really make sense to me at all, but the Sixers need depth. They need bench help bad. I mean, we've been seeing this for the last couple of games now. And I know that you're going to lose games. I know that you're going to struggle in games. I'm not saying that. But the bench just doesn't have the depth that the Lakers do. And, the Clippers do. The Celtics do. And I'm not saying that the Sixers are a terrible team. Because they're not. They're first place in the East. We play the Jazz tonight. Embiid is questionable. So hopefully he's going tonight. It would just really make me pretty mad if he didn't. I mean, let's be honest here. It's 1-on-1. It's the one versus the one. And the Jazz are the hottest team in basketball right now, winning 18 of their last 19 games. But the one game that they did lose, the Denver Nuggets. And that has the second best big man in the NBA. Rudy Gobert has struggled against good bigs throughout his career. And I'm not saying that he's a bad player, because he's definitely not. Defensive Player of the Year a couple times, and he's a great defensive player. Offensively, I've seen better. But defensively, he's great. But if Nikola Jokic can do it in the Nuggets, I think the Sixers have a chance. But there is one main piece that is missing on this team, and that's Shake Milton. Shake Milton not being on this team tonight is going to hurt. Mainly because they have Jordan Clarkson, who's a great scorer off the bench. He is the Lou Williams prototype of scoring off the bench. And, you got your Lou Wills and your Jamal Crawfords. And Shake Milton is ours. I mean, there's really no way around it. He is our sixth man, and we need Shake Milton to be out there to score the basketball as much as possible. And him not playing yesterday and the game before really kind of hurt. I mean, let's be honest here. Him not playing really does hurt the Sixers because of the bench play. Now, you have a rotation of Dwight Howard, Furkan, Tyrese Maxey. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but I don't really know. The bench just isn't there. We're missing a four off the bench. Tobias Harris is our four right now at the power forward position. And, we don't have somebody that can come in and help Tobias Harris, give him a break, I mean, we just don't have that. We don't have a backup power forward. We don't. The Sixers came out today, and John Clark not posted it, but retweeted it, saying that the Sixers were interested in George Hill and Delon Wright. Now, the other day, I said that Nemanja Bjelica could be up for a trade. Daryl Morey and the Sixers are looking at him. I would not be opposed to that. I kind of want him, backup four, can shoot the ball. He's something that this team would need. He's something that this team would definitely like to have. Now, George Hill and Delon Wright, two guards. George Hill is more of a veteran than any of these guys that I'm talking about today. George Hill this season has only played 14 games. He's averaging 11.8 points, 3.1 assists. He's shooting 38.6% from the field. He's pretty much been a 38% shooter from three-point land in his career, and he's 50% on the season on field goal percentage. He would be nice. I would definitely not mind having George Hill on this team. I think he is a solid backup point guard role. I think you can then have Shake Milton come off with George Hill. I think that definitely adds more depth to the team, and I think that he is probably the best player out of the three of Delon Wright, Bjelica, and himself. I think he's the best. I just don't know. I would rather have Danny Green off the bench, personally. I think Seth Curry can start. I think he has that in his game. I think he can be a NBA starter, and I don't think I'm wrong on saying that. But if Danny Green is off the bench, I think it makes you better. I think if you can move, maybe George Hill starts. Who knows? But there's other guys out there that are always on trade blocks late in the season because they always seem to go to bad teams for more money. Those guys, Wayne Ellington is one of them that I would love to have on this team. A great shooter. He has killed us multiple times this season when we played the Pistons. He would be great off the bench for us. Great. But I don't know if he's up for trade. Reggie Bullock is another guy that I wouldn't mind having. Yeah, he did get cut from the Lakers when LeBron was there, but I think he's a good shooter. I think he could definitely come off the bench and be a solid shooter. But I think if you're going into the backup point guard position, I think Shake Milton does struggle a little bit carrying the ball up the court. Now, he's averaging like 14 points a game this year. If you can have George Hill coming off the bench or starting for us at the point guard position, I think it does definitely add depth to the team. I mean, that's why you would get a veteran guy like George Hill on this squad. You know, you can either put him on the bench, he'd be, you know, your 6th or 7th man, 8th man off the bench that can just provide a little spark, provide a little bit of help carrying the ball up the floor. I also think that if you move Danny Green to the bench, I think his defense there would be pretty good. You know, is Patrick Beverley up for trade? I don't know. Would you want him? I don't know. But George Hill is definitely a guy that has caught my eye in saying that he could possibly be coming to the Sixers. And, you know, I don't really mind him. I would not mind him at all. Bjelica, you know, he's okay. He's shooting not great. He's averaging like around 8 points a night for the Sacramento Kings. He's okay. He's nothing crazy good. I don't know how much he would actually help this team, in all honesty. But, you know, I just don't know. These guys are okay guys to have on this team, to have as a backup. Now, Bjelica is shooting horribly from 3. 26% from 3. That's terrible. 44% from the field. You know, he is a big guy. He's a spot-up shooter. That's what he is. He's 6'10". All he does is shoot. And, you know, when you're shooting 26% from the three-point line, that's not going to cut it. You know, I'd rather bring Ersan back. I'm sure he could provide more, you know, quality minutes than Bjelica can at this point. That's what it's looking like. And Delon Wright, you know, he's not terrible. He's only averaging like around 10 points a game. He's shooting like 35% from the field, or from three-point land. You know, he's not the greatest, but he's also not the worst. You know, it's whatever. But I think George Hill would definitely make this team a lot better. Not a lot better, but, you know, just add more depth. I think moving Danny Green to the bench would add more depth. There's just some things to do that you need to do. And finding the bench depth is definitely one of them. And until the Sixers do that, you know, are they ready for an NBA championship run? I'm not sure. And, you know, they need to be, because we're in win now mode. So you need to find some bench depth. You just need to be better. This team needs to be better. You cannot rely on Furkan Korkmaz shooting struggles and then his defense ability in the playoffs. You can't have that. Dwight Howard, he has been downright awful the last couple of games. He's not scoring anymore. He can't catch. Even worse than before, he can't catch the ball. You know, and as I said, Shake Milton is out. The bench unit has been awful. And that goes for every single player that comes off the bench. Maxey, Furkan, all of them. Dwight. The only one that has been a little bit consistent all year has been Shake Milton. And that is why you need him. But I think in order to make yourself a better team, I think that this team definitely needs more depth on the bench. So guys like Bjelica, Hill, and what's his name? Delon Wright. I would not be mad at any of them. But if I had to lean one way, I would be leaning the George Hill way. I think he would definitely be the best player for this squad. And, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. When that move drops, when something drops, I'll definitely be making a video about it. But with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in to the 4for4 Philly Fan Podcast. This is your host. And, if you are new, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. And I am out. Peace.